I'm Logan, and today on Game Engineer Labs we have...
Hey buddy, I think you lost this!
Spider-Man, coming up! This project that I have for you is going to be absolutely insane. As an avid PlayStation fan, I think one of the coolest games on the market has to be Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5 from Insomniac Games. In my view, this game was a home run with a compelling story, excellent mechanics, and a soundtrack that I can listen to over and over again. That combined with excellent representation makes it a game that is really going to stand the test of time. Given how awesome and legendary this game is, I think we need to do it some justice and make a Spider-Man faceplate and mask for Miles Morales. But, to be honest, I don't think a faceplate and mask is going to be enough. I've been taking some animatronic courses with the Stan Winston School of Character Arts, so let's double down and make the mask with fully animatronic eyes. I'm really excited for this build, and let's get to it. I'm going to do some research, and I'll get back to you guys soon. Okay, so I've been pulling up some movie clips from Spider-Man Homecoming, because I think it probably has like the best like eye movement. So let's see if we can, yeah, see, so right here, like you can kind of see the eyes moving ever so slightly. Let's see if we can get another look. There's got to be a closer one. Okay, there's a little bit of movement there. Oh. Is this the one? Maybe. Nope, don't see that yet. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is kind of the effect that I want. I want it to be able to not just like open and close, but I want to be able to have states in between where it goes from like, you know, you see him like when he's squinting, there's an actual squinting motion where his eyes aren't completely closed, but it has the ability to close. But then even when it's open, he has the ability to give like quizzical looks. So having it where like one eye's open, one eye's closed, and kind of give different states to those eyes and different ranges of motion, or not ranges of motion, but like different, like having the lens be able to like sit at different areas on the eye. And I think that's probably going to be the best approach that we go with. So I'll probably watch a few more videos. I'll see maybe if there's any faceplates that are available online, and kind of see if they have anything that'll help with that effort, I guess. But I'll let you guys know. We'll check back and we'll keep going. All right, before we kick off this project, I kind of wanted to go through the process of how I kind of got everything together. So the first thing that I did was I ended up taking a scan of my head. So I used the Bellis 3D Face app. And what it has you do is it has you adjust your face and your head up and down to actually construct the model using the front face camera. There are several other apps that are out there where you can do similar things, where you can actually use the LiDAR sensors within like your iPhone 12, if you happen to have one, to actually map out your face or your body or anything like that if you're ever doing any sort of cosplaying. I'm just kind of showing a brief overview here, but I think a really good tutorial of this process is actually done by Kamui Cosplay, which I'll link in the description down below. But they have a great video on how to use these different apps for cosplaying and being able to kind of work 3D images around your 3D face scans. Once we have the face scan actually done, there's kind of multiple different options with this type of cosplay. There's a lot of people who end up really designing these files kind of on their own. What I always do is I tend to check the Do 3D website. And with this website, there is a ton of different cosplaying options, everything from Iron Man to Suicide Squad. And as you can see, they even have like Deadpool. But what I went ahead and did was I ended up searching for some of the 3D models that were on here. So I searched Spider-Man, and in this, well, as you can see, there's actually a little option here even for Spider-Man. So I ended up going through all of these, and I found a really good print file that was actually created by, let's see if I can find his name, 3D modeler. It was RCENB Design. And they have this great faceplate model that has multiple different eyes. And given that I want to do essentially add animatronics to the eyes and have them move, I figure this would be a really good option, because then you can kind of see like what the different stages of the eyes are. But then also, if you happen to like, maybe one day you want to adjust it and you don't want to have the animatronic eyes, I could actually take one of these static eyes and go through that. So I took this model, I ended up getting it into a program called Fusion 360. Pull it up here. And this is an Autodesk product. Okay, so once I had the model downloaded from Do 3D, I ended up importing the face scan from Bellis into Fusion, and then I imported the Spider-Man face mask into Fusion as well. And you have to make sure that when you import it, that it actually has that you're importing it with the same sizing, because what can happen is if you pick the wrong sizing, it'll end up making one of the models extremely large and then unable to be printed on the 3D printer. So I ended up, in this case, rescaling this model. I think it was just slightly small, so I did 1.02, and it's in the planes tool, but I won't get into too much of Fusion 360. I'll probably do a tutorial at some point on how to use it. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm not the best at Fusion 360. I kind of just know enough to be dangerous. But I essentially put the scan of my head into the area and resized it, and then plopped the model on. Once the model seemed like it was the right size, I realized after a couple of tries that this 3D model was too big for my 3D printer. So I ended up having to cut this into multiple different pieces in order to be printed on the 3D printer. But yeah, I cut it, and then I went ahead and saved it and exported it, and then brought it into the Prusa software. Once the 3D models were saved, I brought them into the Prusa Slicer software, because I have a Prusa i3 Mark II. I just went ahead and added all of the resized, saved, cut images and brought them into here. So I think for the first two prints, I ended up doing the top and the middle. So we'll go ahead and just kind of show you. At the top, luckily with this software, it usually gets it right with getting it flat on the build plate. It looks like in this case it didn't, but when I did the first import it did, but easy enough. You just go ahead and rotate it. You get all these nice little options, and then I just flipped it around. Oop. Yep, flipped it around, made it flat, sat on the build plate, brought in another one. I think that was the top, so we'll do middle. Yeah, brought in the other one, and then just kind of got them out of the way, and then went ahead and printed them. And I'll show you some of the print process.
"2,000 years later."
All right, so here's what we have after about 80 hours of printing and some cleanup. As you can see, I was able to clean out the purple mask a little bit, but as you can tell, there's still some more pieces that need to be printed. I have to work on the eyes, but I think what I'm gonna do is wait till I finish these portions of the mask, the larger portions, and then work on the eyes separately. Mostly just because, you know, they're going to be a tight fit, and with this mask design, there's multiple different eyes, so it's going to take some work to actually make them a little more animatronic or puppet-like. So we'll see what we can do, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning out the pink portion and getting these all combined.
Several days later.
All right, so fast forward next day. Was able to get all of these pieces out from inside of the mask, and I was able to actually start gluing some of these pieces together. And so I ended up using some of this E6000 glue. This is industrial glue, so if you guys ever use this for your 3D prints, it's really, really strong and it's really good, but it is an industrial adhesive, so you definitely want to wear some sort of protection, some sort of respirator so that you're not messing with it. And then I was also, for this, I was able to sand and clean up a lot of the inside. There's still more work that needs to be done, but of course, as with anything, you want to be able to wear goggles so you don't get any plastic in your eyes or anything like that. Just cleaned it up using the Dremel. Still more to do, but with this E6000 glue, it takes roughly 24 to 72 hours to fully cure because it's an epoxy resin style glue. So I will let this sit for a little bit, and I will see you guys in a bit. All right, everybody, that wraps it up for part 1 of the Spider-Man faceplate build. And as you can see, it's going pretty good so far. In the next video, we will be sanding, priming, painting, doing all that, and getting this thing into nice, good working shape, and patching some of the holes that are on here. If you do like the content so far, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later.